Hey y'all, it's Betsy from Cuttin Corners Vinyl. And over here, I like to focus on all things vinyl, sublimation, and screen printing. I don't focus on perfection because without mistakes, how else are you supposed to learn anything? I have over 15 years of professional experience, if you want to call it that. So you might see things done a little bit differently over here than what you're used to seeing them. I'm also extremely honest about affiliate links and when products are sent to me. So if that seems like something you're into, then you might want to stick around and think about joining the Cuttin Corners family. If not, you might want to buzz on because my honeybees have a real sting to them. So today I'm starting a new series called Honest Heat Press Reviews. The reason I decided to start this series is because I have a lot of years of experience working with heat presses. I ran a professional shop that we did vinyl shirts, screen printed shirts, big vinyl signs. We just recently shut that down back in the end of October. Was it the end of October? Yes. End of October, we started closing everything down. It's hard for me to remember. I'm dealing with epilepsy, things like that. But that's not the point behind it. But I've made well over 100,000 heat press vinyl shirts in my years. Done this for a long, long time. Now, even though some people say, well, you probably don't, because I did get some flack whenever I posted my opinion video on why I wasn't going to purchase the Cricut Auto Press. I will leave that video up here in the cards if you're interested in seeing it. But I decided to do this because I do get quite a bit of offers on receiving free heat presses, free mug presses, free hat presses, and I've been turning them down, but I've decided to change my tune and accept some of them. Now, I am going to read what I have said to the companies who are sending me the offers to take them, because a lot of the times it's, we'll give you a affiliate link, we'll give you a coupon code to get these in. We would like you to review them in a certain amount of time. And that's not how I'm going to do things. And I'm going to go over my review criteria so that way you can see how I'm going to do it. Hopefully that will help you out. I'm going to create a playlist for the reviews. So hopefully it'll make it easier if you are going to be looking for a full heat press in different price ranges, mug presses, hat presses, and I'm going to include in that list ones that I purchase as well as ones that are sent to me. So hopefully this will make it a little bit easier in your decision making. So first off, this is what I'm replying back to companies who are making offers. I'm interested in doing a review. Here is how I do them. It takes a while for me to do them. I have health issues, and I take my time and use quite a bit of time to make sure that it performs well before I recommend anything. I go through all the pros and cons of a product. I don't do discount codes or payments for reviews. If I like it and it's sold on Amazon, I will link it in my Amazon store, and I will link the website. I will not sign any contract. If you are okay with my terms, here is my shipping information. Very plainly put, because I don't want to have to say anything anybody tells me. I try to keep it blunt and easy as possible. That's it. That's how I do it. Now, I have a list of things for my heat press review criteria. So, number 1 is overheating. And to test this, you turn on your press and you leave it on for long periods of time. So one of the things running a production facility, when I would get to work, my heat press would come on and it would stay on every day that I was open. Most days from the time I opened to the time I closed, 5-6 days a week. So I'm not going to do that all day every day here, but I'm going to do it several days in a row. Maybe not every day, but as I said, just to test and see how it works. Number 2 is we're going to test consistent heating. I have a temperature gun, just got a new one, and I have been testing it to make sure we are getting correct ambient temperatures. And we're going to test on a regular basis the heat platens to make sure it is evenly heating all the way across. Not just one day, but multiple days. That's the only way you can test and see that it is accurately heating. And one of the things I am going to do is the heat presses that I still have access to, because I just ordered and received that I paid for the Heat Press Nation, the Signature Pro 16x20 heat press, but I still have my Craft Pro 15x15. Not going to get rid of it. I'm going to go back and re-review it. I still have one of the Tessies. I'm going to go back and re-review it. Like even the Easy Press style heat presses, I'm going to re-review those because I think it's important. And I am going to make a full playlist of these, and then I'm going to do heat presses by price range playlist. Pressure settings. Now, I haven't found like an accurate gauge to be able to test like different levels of pressure settings, but one of the things I was thinking about that's going to make this easiest to test pressure settings, because you're going to want to test your lowest pressure settings, because if it can squeeze the thinnest, that's going to be your most accurate pressure settings. Is I'm going to get thin sheets of fabric, probably muslin, something that's inexpensive, because this is stuff that I'm going to be paying for myself. Take HTV, cut down probably multiple sheets whenever you're talking about the bigger heat presses. So if I'm doing a 15x15, I'm going to cut it down to 15x15 and cut it out and lay it all the way across the heat press and press it down to make sure that it's making contact all the way across the top of the heat press, and we're getting even pressure. Because you know, whenever you're testing heat transfer vinyl, how do you know it's adhered? You end up with the fabric indentations in your heat transfer vinyl. Well, that's how you're going to know you're getting good contact. If it has those even pressure marks, those even transfer, you can see that material through all the way across at your lowest setting. So we're going to test that on all the machines. And same kind of thing for when you're doing a cap. Now for mug presses, since those are mainly going to be done for sublimation, we're going to be able to test and see if it has an even sublimation print all the way around on all the objects that it's supposed to do. Now sublimation is going to be a little bit different. You're just going to want to make sure it's coating the entire thing. Sublimation is going to be a sublimation, like to test sublimation, since it's a gas, they have a little bit easier of a job than something that's supposed to transfer vinyl, because vinyl has to have a little bit more pressure involved to transfer the image, because it's got to actually make sure it's got even pressure that presses actually into it. Sublimation, since it turns into a gas, yes, it has to have even pressure, but since it turns into a gas, it doesn't have to have that firm full pressure, if that makes sense. It has a little bit more leeway with it. but we're going to test to make sure it has even heat, that type of thing, on every single machine, because we want to make sure it's accurate across the board. We want to have everything tested consistently. Now, for number 4 is we're going to test multiple items and multiple styles and press a minimum of 50 items. Now, what I mean by multiple items and multiple styles. Now, if it is a mug press that is designed for 12-ounce mugs, we're not going to test 16-ounce mugs in it. You can't fit them in there. There's no reason to. But if it's a mug press that's supposed to take several different styles of mugs, we are going to test all the different styles of mugs that we can. If it's a hat press that will take several different styles of hats, we are going to test them. When we're talking about heat presses, we're going to test different styles of shirts. We're going to test hoodies. We're going to test multiple different types of fabrics, thicknesses, that type of thing, because that's what you need to do. How else are you supposed to know if it's going to work on different things? And you need to be doing minimum amounts. You can't just test 5 things and be like, oh, this is the best heat press ever. No, you need to be doing a larger quantity of things to make sure it's going to continue to work, that nuts and bolts and screws aren't going to start coming loose or it's going to shimmy apart, because yes, that can happen. We want to make sure it's going to stay working. Number 5 is the ease of use. How hard is it to set it up, to take it out of the box? How heavy is it? How hard is it to adjust the pressure, the time, the temperature? Those things are important. Does it come with a book? These are things we want to know. I want to know these things. Number 7. Number 6, what's the warranty like? What's covered on it? You know, that's part of the reason why I included the Amazon thing in my email, because for a lot of these sellers, especially if they're coming directly out of China, I'm always going to recommend to purchase it from Amazon, because you're going to be able to get a warranty, like an extended warranty from Assurion. And I would always recommend that over anything else, because it's going to be able to be easier to exchange it if there's an issue. And I want to make sure that that is understood. Also, number 7, customer service. How does that work? Who do you contact if there's an issue, if there's a question, if there's a problem? Those things are important to know. Number 8, what is my time frame like? For me, an initial review is going to be at least a month, if not longer. And I'm going to do updates at least 6 months and a year. I'm not going to be getting rid of heat presses, which in my Cricut video, I don't know if it was misunderstood, but I've never sold a heat press or anything like that I didn't purchase myself. Only equipment I've ever sold is stuff that I purchased. I've given away things that I've been given, but I've never sold anything that I haven't purchased, because that's just not who I am. Let me make that clear. But at this point, I'm going to keep things. Now, I'm not going to be able to run everything constantly. I mean, I don't know how many brands are going to agree to this. A lot of people won't. I mean, let's just make that clear. Or at least that's the feeling that I'm going to get from this, or I have gotten from this. That's just not how most brands want to do things. They want reviews things now. But we will see how this goes. And I have no issue purchasing things. I just can't go buy every single heat press that comes out. I can't afford that. And buying 50 blanks per heat press and vinyl, I mean, that's just not feasible. But that's just kind of how it's going to go. Now, I'm also going to take into consideration reviews if they are confirmed purchases from consumers. And what I mean by that is, like, if I can go to a company's website and see that they're confirmed purchases from consumers, be able to go to Amazon, and I'm going to look through the reviews, because sometimes you can see a confirmed purchase and the review is just like, well, did you not read what the product was? Because sometimes that's how it happens. And the scale for the reviews are going to be based on price range. So they're not going to be judged. Like if you go to, I'm not going to judge like a Cadillac versus a Prius, because they're not in the same level. So they're going to be judged in price range categories. So we'll judge like $500 and under, $500 to $1,000, and then like $1,000 and above. I think that that's going to keep it kind of fair. So they're going to be judged on my B schedule, or my B scale. So it's going to be 1 to 5 Bs for accuracy, ease of use, value, appearance, and customer service / warranty. And my goal for the reviews is to be able to put the machines through their paces. I want to run them like they would be ran if they were in a production facility. That way I can tell you if they're worth it or not. Because that's what I would want to be able to hear. But with that being said, there can always be issues that are out of my control or outside of the brand's control. I mean, things can happen when machines are being put together. And my experience might not be the same as yours. There can be electrical issues with your home. It's kind of like whenever a breaker blows. So you need to take into account that, different houses have different amperages and things like that. Those are things I cannot foresee. It's like trying to plug a dryer in your home into a regular 110 outlet. You're going to mess something up. So be warned. Those are things I cannot control. It's kind of, or, if you've lived in an older house and you plug a hair dryer in and it has those little, the things that you push in and to keep it from I forget what those are called. You know what I mean. Brain doesn't always work. Epilepsy, medication. I've explained it. But that kind of thing, those are things that are out of my control. So double check that kind of thing. If you're unsure, call an electrician or have someone check those things. You can get the test meters. If you don't know how to use it, make sure you get an electrician. But my PR and affiliate rules are still the same. This is what I have set up for myself a long time ago, because this is just how I feel about things. Which is, I don't take a code or a link, unless it's someone I purchase from or trust. There are exceptions because I may take, if it's a product that I'm interested in trying, or I think it's just something really cool. But I only do that if it's something that I can say exactly what I want. I don't sign contracts, that type of thing. I'm just really weird about that. If I receive a product, I'm always honest, whether it's free or not. And 99.9% of what you see on my channel, I buy myself. It's just what I prefer. Now, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and lie and say that there aren't certain times that I haven't panicked about money stuff, because whenever we closed down the business and all that, I went through a stage where I panicked about what I was going to do, because when I closed down the business, my channel views went down because I wasn't posting as often. I lost my income, as the majority of my income, whenever I wasn't bringing in everything from having the business. And I have been experimenting with different things, with learning more about the back end of YouTube, but I'm still not going to change what I am doing as far as how I am putting out content on YouTube. That part of stuff is not going to change. I might change how I name videos, and I might change how I do my thumbnails, but what is in the videos and who I am as a person is not going to change. I've been where I have money, and if I become poor again, then guess what? That's just how it is. And I just want to make sure that those things are completely out in the open and 100% honest, because I don't know. I've always been that way. I feel weird about things. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm the only one who's like that. But, like, I tell people, I know what to do to have more subscribers, to get more video views, to have more brand, like all this, but I just am not comfortable with doing those types of things. I don't fault anybody for doing what they need to do, or for doing the things that they want to do or feeling like they need to do. I mean, sometimes, yes, I do. I can be judgmental about that, because I don't know. It just doesn't sit right with me and my conscience. But, I mean, there I go. It's like, I try to be PC about things, and it's like, and people are going to be like, well, I can't watch her. She's judgy. But that's where I'm at on it. And as I said, I've gotten in a mug press to try. And I have a mug press that I need to finish doing the review on, but I lost a memory card. Now, that is another part of this. I am not going to film everything. I do not have time to sit there and film every single step of everything. And the reviews are going to be short and sweet. I'm going to film what the machines look like. I'm going to do a tutorial of how it works. I'm going to go over the specs of how it performed, but I'm not going to film everything. You will just see how it, like, my overall opinion of it. Because if I film it all, the reviews will be 50 hours long. Hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully you will stick around and watch as the reviews come out. But I do actually have several machines that I can go back and film these already over. Because they have already been put through their paces. It's just, now I've got to go back and do the actual scientific portion of them. So, again, hopefully you are interested in these videos. And I have babbled on enough. the babbling stuff will not stop. So that is something you will get used to, or you won't, and you won't watch these. But yeah, I guess that's it, and I will see y'all in the next one. I love you guys, and I will see you later. Bye.